Hello, Smars here. As promised, I'm doing this video where I'm going to talk about my old comics that I used to do when I used to self-publish comics starting in 1998, and when I used to work on 11 by 17 and with Blue Line. I actually found, because I'm in the middle of packing and unpacking, and I found actually a unsharpened Blue Line pencil from back in the day. It's really amazing, that I found this. I can't believe it, but this is what I used to work with. I stopped working with these non-photo blue pencils. I think I called it a Blue Line pencil, and the reason why is because I'm staring at this. Sorry, but it's non-photo blue, and it was kind of standard. I think it's not. It was said to be standard for a comic book artist when I was little, and it's not really the case. It's not true. Don't believe it. You can use whatever tool you want. Comics are art, and artists use whatever tool best expresses their imagination. What's inside of them. What best brings that out. So anyways, let me not get too artsy-fartsy. I'll start by talking about this other thing that I found when I found the pencil. It was the official Marvel Comics tryout book. This is something that my mom found at a dollar store in 1992 or 1993, I don't remember. I was little. And I mean, it originally came out in 1983, but I mean, I knew right away. I was like, oh my goodness, this is way old. I knew it was old, and I wanted it because what was on the inside. It's actually a tryout book. Oh, oops, that's something else. That's art from a different artist. That's actually, you know what? Hold on. Randy Queen. Does anyone know Randy Queen? Randy Queen. I met him at a convention when I was little. And 1993, look at that, 1993, and this is a character that he used to do, self-publish. Yeah. Anyways, I have a bunch of his work, because I think he was local in Atlanta. Anyways, so this book is this huge 11 by 17 book, and it talks about all the different things, how they used to use Doc Martens inks and stuff to color, and their color spectrum, and it talks about the different tools that they inked with, the India ink and the different nibs, and it talks about all this different stuff and different brush sizes, and it was amazing. This book was amazing. And it's all, I tore out some of the pages, where you got to try out coloring. It would let you try out coloring and try out inking, and I tore out those pages, but it's all printed to look like it's on Blue Line paper, like actual official pages and stuff. And they do all this different stuff. Like there's a section for lettering, I think, where they talk about lettering. And this was like the section where you're supposed to learn how to where you learn to ink and pencil, and you're supposed to do the cleanup pencils, and then you're supposed to ink over this stuff, and it's all all that is pre-done. All the text is a part of the book and everything. And I, of course, didn't care, and I went straight with a pen and gave Peter Parker a sort of a military buzz cut and stuff. I was just being stupid. But and then I went and I did my own character on there. I didn't even care. I just drew my own character on top, and just whatever. But I mean, it definitely left its mark. I mean, they even show how their scripts are set up. Like, this is how their scripts are set up. I don't know necessarily that this is how they do it anymore. I certainly know that not every writer works this way. Everyone works their own way. They show some of the other tools for lettering. Stuff that I don't know that anyone uses any of this stuff anymore. I know I don't use. I bought a lot of this supplies when I worked at an art store in 1998 when I first started self-publishing. I bought a lot of art supplies just like this, so that I could do my hand lettering and get everything just perfect. And oh, that's terrible. Don't look at that. I was being really, really stupid about a lot of this. I wasn't really being serious about it at the time. I was a little kid, so hey. Oh, and there's one serious thing. Wow, that's actually watercolored. Anyways, so that's that. That's one of the beginnings of my obsession with comics, and well, at least with making comics. I was reading comics. Gosh, I don't know. When I was a little bitty kid, I was, you know. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So what that did was it introduced me to 11 by 17 paper, you know, along with going to a lot of comic book conventions with my stepdad. He introduced me to comic book conventions, which just blew my mind, you know, when I first went to one. But I instantly went into, in '98, you know, after I graduated and stuff, I went into self-publishing. I just kind of jumped headfirst into it. I didn't think about it really. I was just like, I want to do this. I want to do this. So I figured out how, and really the whole thing was trial and error, you know, the whole way through. I mean, I'm still learning. We're always learning constantly. We're learning new things, but at the time, a lot of stuff was done by hand, you know. So you have like this. This was a book. This was a special that I did in 1999. That at Dragon Con I was giving away for free to people. Anyone that stopped by the table. I gave a couple to some artists. There's some artists out there that might actually have some of these. I guess there are people out there that have a copy of this. And this is sort of between issues. And the book at the time, and don't laugh, was called The Adventures of the Happy Bash Shoguns. And it's a name that carried over from high school. And I can show you, I think I have over here, I have like this box of the scripts and stuff. This is actually what it looked like in high school. This cover wasn't done by me, by the way. This is my friend Angel, who's a graffiti artist now. I mean, he was a graffiti artist then, but you know, he's like a fairly well-known graffiti artist now, and a graphic artist. But at the time, he was a budding graffiti artist back then. I mean, we were both just getting into graffiti. He actually introduced me to graffiti. But you can tell. I mean, you can see. You know, this is, you know. But in high school, it was called, you know, The Adventures of the Happy Bash Shoguns, or sometimes we just shortened it to Shoguns. The name of the company was Uncanny Comics. And I mean, I would just, you know, I'd do this, you know, that thing where you just staple, you know, some pages together. You just staple some sheets of paper together, and then you draw on them. And I would just draw in pencil on these pages. And you can see, like, you know, even back then, you know, my style, you know, was kind of similar to where it is now. You know, the big forearms and very cartoony and stuff. It's a little bit more graphic, you know, like the edges are more choppy and everything. And I mean, you know, this is like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, wow. But anyways, so that's the reason I like the name. I like the way that the name looked, the way that, you know, the fonts, you know, the lettering always looked like this. Even though this is, you know, my friend Angel doing this, we always went with the letters pretty much looking like that. I mean, you can see even later on, I tried to make the letters even still look the same. You know, we always did that. So, yeah, I would do the stuff on, you know, these big 11 by 17 sheets, and as you can see, like later on, like when I started self-publishing, my style changed. I guess, yeah, well, it changed. I changed it, but at the same time, it evolved on its own. That's just what happens. But the characters were much more. They were elongated, really stretched out and long, and they were really different. And I would color in with Prisma markers, cool gray Prisma markers. I would color right on the boards, and these are actually like blue line boards. I'm trying not to race through this too fast, but I think this thing only records in 30-minute chunks. But these are blue line boards, pro comic pages from Blue Line. They cost like $17 a pack, I believe, at the time. I don't know how much they cost now, but honestly, it's not really worth it. Sorry, Blue Line, but it's not worth buying these These, if you're gonna work 11 by 17, you can honestly buy a pack of 11 by 17 bright white laser copy paper. You know, it's really slick, so if you're gonna ink, it'll ink really smoothly and really nice. You have to be careful because they smudge very easily. I'll show you some of those pages. But I would buy, you know, and that was part of my reasoning for changing it. I was learning as I was going. I would spend almost $20 for a pack of 22 sheets of this paper because it had the lines on it. It had all the different. It was marked, you know, especially for comics, and so it was easier to reduce at the time. I had to learn how to reduce on copy machines all by myself and stuff, and so I don't know. I thought I had to do it this way, and so I did it this way, and I learned. Wow, you can see, like, I used to paste this stuff on. I printed off my my copier, off my computer. I print out all the text and I'd paste it down. If I wasn't doing stuff by hand, because at the time I lettered by hand, and it was terrible. I have pretty bad handwriting. You can see like the reject pages on the reverse side of these. Wow, that's amazing. And that's because it was expensive. It was really expensive to do that. I might, you know, honestly, I might break this into 2 videos, 2 short videos. So if it gets pretty close to 20 minutes, I'll break it into 2 videos. I think I'll do it on purpose. So yeah, just because, you know, I can't help but get a little, I can't help but talk a little bit about all this stuff. You know, I get kind of nostalgic when I'm looking at all this. Yeah, a little advertisement and stuff. I don't know. So that's that. I was saying, you know, just buy a ream, 500 sheets, 11 by 17 paper. If you have to use 11 by 17, it's not even necessary to buy official. I can't use both my hands for, you know, the quotes, but it's official paper. It's not necessary. So anyways, this whole box, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. This whole box is pages and pages, and it started off where I was doing it like that, and eventually I got to the point where I started off inking with just regular pens. That's not mine. Oh, well, it's a guest cover. And eventually I ended up, I learned how to ink. I started learning how to ink with a brush. You can see, like, I was inking with a brush and stuff. I was getting into a lot of that. And I learned how to letter. In the computer, I was still printing it out though, and I would paste it into the inside, you know, onto the paper, and then I draw the word bubble around it, which is kind of funny because it's a little bit what I do now, except all in the computer. I'll type right onto the drawings in Flash, and then I just draw over it in Flash. I draw a word bubble around. It's all on different layers, so nothing gets damaged, but it's all digital, so who cares? But yeah, I had to learn how to reduce all this. This is all, you know, and I was inking with brushes at some point, and this is all me learning, you know, all the different things that I wanted to do so much stuff, and I was trying to do so many things, and let me see if I can find an example of, I think I have something earlier. Oh, I did. Let's see what I can find. Ow! Oh! This broom just hit me! Oh! So unorganized and organized at the same time. It's tragic. You can see like these pages, you know, I would reduce them on a copier. I would reduce them by hand on the copier, 11 by 17, and that's the reason why they use 11 by 17, because it comes down to that really nice size really easily. And I put them on these pages, and I'm trying to find one. Sorry about all the wiggling around the camera. I'm trying to find an example of a page. I don't know where they are. Oh wow! I don't think I have one to show. That sucks. I thought I had one at least to show. Let me see if I can find one. Now, I mean, I know I'm just throwing this stuff around. I kind of don't care. All this work it's old and it's all been printed, so I'm completely fine with kind of messing it up. This is part of my problem, is I've held on to tons and tons of work. This is years of work. I started self-publishing in '98, and I have pretty much every single thing that I did in that time period. Okay, here we go. So I would take those and I'd reduce them on, you know, on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and I'd take those 8.5 by 11 sheets and I'd lay them. I'd, you know, mark off the edges of an 11 by 17 sheet and mark them off, and I'd lay these down, and you can see like that one's just kind of on top of another one. That's weird. But I would lay them and tape them down to that, and then I'd send them through the copier. Oh, here's another one. This is even better. You can see like I have photocopied them. And this one has actually gone through multiple times, because you can see I laid this one on. I call these my plates, and I just kind of laid it down there, and I'd send it through the copier, and you know, you can see like a double-sided 11 by 17 plate. And then I'd come out with one that was perfect, you know, and ready to be trimmed, I guess, really. And I make multiple copies, and I trim them down, and staple them, and well, sell them at conventions. And I'll be honest, a lot of times I ended up doing all this work like the night before a convention. Like I remember at least twice I was at the copy store till like 3 in the morning, and then I had to go straight from the copy store to the convention. I just went straight from there. Like I had to catch a bus to HeroCon in North Carolina, and I just, by the time I got to the convention, it had already started, so all I could do was just walk in and sit down, take a seat at my table. But yeah, and you know, I was always cutting it close like that, because I was learning as I was going, and I just, that was the fun of it. You know, that is the fun of it. You know, it's still fun. It's just kind of the experience. You know, so I highly encourage, you know, just go out and do it. You know, go out, make comics, and go to conventions. You know, they're a little bit more. Some of the conventions that I did in the past are much more expensive than they used to be. And I mean, that's just 10 years. I mean, that's 10 years, and yeah, that kind of thing happens. But still, you know, there's still some cheap conventions out there that you can get a table at, even if it's just an artist alley table. You know, I didn't always get artist alley tables. Sometimes if the convention was cheap enough, I would get like a regular table, almost a booth. Once I got lucky and I got somebody's booth. They canceled, and so I got their booth, even though I paid for just a regular table. That was awesome for me and my friends. So I'm gonna stop this video, and I will start on the next video where I'll continue this little tour. Hopefully you'll join me on that video. So I'll actually show you, sorry, I started saying bye and then I realized I need to explain what I'll show. I'll actually show the actual comic books, the finished product versions, and I'll show the different evolutionary stages, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, and explaining the reason why I switched tools, you know, from using the blue line pencils, which I've lost, it's somewhere around here, switching from the blue line pencil to red line pencil, the non-photo blue pencil I mean, to the carmine red pencil. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. So, bye! Thank you for watching.